seems dramatic to use the word barbaric, but like I do feel like it is a bit barbaric.
I think it is. I think the way we've been doing it is barbaric.
From then, I didn't have a day where I wasn't in pain for the next like 9 years.
Did that conversation with the endometriosis specialist force you onto the journey of acceptance? Do you think you ever got on it?
I needed to get myself in the best possible situation so I could then try for a baby.
Yeah.
So I kept going because of that, I think.
How much money are we talking about?
I think back then it was probably about £250 for the consultation.
Which was how long?
I want to say probably 15 minutes. I think I had a 20-minute slot, but I was out the door in 15.
£250 for 15 minutes.
There has been times where I've been like, probably actually begging for help. And I've never been met with like, well, very rarely been met with someone who's like actually taking me seriously.
What does that do to you? Over 9 years. Mariella, welcome to the Girl Chat. Thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to be here with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So you have quite a few different diagnoses, but what I want to start with is actually the time for you before you experienced any pain, because you had quite a few years of what we'd call quotation normal periods.
Yeah.
So what did normal look like for you before the pain began?
It was honestly like so easy. I was up until I was about 21. I had super normal periods, like normal
Quotation
periods.
marks.
Yeah. And I think like I went to an all-girls school, so it was very much like a topic of conversation. Like my friends and people in my class or whatever would have kind of like bad periods or really heavy periods, and I would be like, oh, I feel so sorry for you. Like mine are totally fine. Like it would be like a few days of bleeding, a few days of light pain, and then like a breeze.
Wow.
Until I was 21.
So you literally had almost textbook what we would expect and what a lot of girls probably hope for of like, I have my 3 to 5 days, a normal bleed, but nothing that stops me from doing normal day-to-day activities or getting on with my life.
No, nothing. It was a big like contrast to then what happened after that. And it all really kind of stemmed from at 21, I was so drained from being on like normal contraception. Like I'd feel like I was losing my mind. I'd be getting like the worst kind of like acne, the worst kind of side effects. So I thought that the copper coil would be like a really good option.
So what contraception were you on when you were in your teenage years?
I think I tried like all the different pills. I didn't ever have like an implant or anything.
Okay.
So I was super aware that I wanted to be able to stop taking it if I felt myself kind of getting really depressed or whatever. And I think it was actually my mum who was like, oh, there's a non-hormonal option. And I was like, great, I'll do that. And then I decided to get the copper coil, and it kind of all just went a bit downhill from there, really.
Tell me about inserting the copper coil and that GP appointment.
Oh my God. It was like, I mean, it seems dramatic to use the word barbaric, but like, I do feel like it is a bit barbaric.
I think it is. I think the way we've been doing it is barbaric.
I think the whole experience was horrific. Like, I think the way I didn't get it done at the GP. I went to like a sexual health clinic or whatever, because that was when I could get an appointment.
Yeah.
And I felt like the way I was treated from start to finish was so awful.
Tell me what happened.
I think I went in, I was obviously super nervous, and they'd been beforehand, I think they'd said, oh, take a couple of paracetamol, you'll be totally fine. But I was already really nervous, and I think they were just a bit like, kind of acting like I was a bit of a nuisance, a bit like, oh, another kind of like young girl who needs us to like, it just felt like I was annoying. It felt like they were kind of rolling their eyes at me all the time. And then kind of having it inserted just went terribly wrong. I think they tried like a few different times. I think they had to try and get like a smaller size or whatever, and no one was communicating with me. It was really just like...
So they were just like doing this almost to you without involving you in the process. It's like you're almost like a body on a slab that they were just doing it to.
And I felt like awkward. I felt like, oh God, am I not, like, is everything okay? Am I like too tense? And it was just the most horrific experience. And afterwards I was in agony. Like, I think I got my mum to pick me up, I think, but for probably like a week afterwards, I was in agony. And that was my first real experience of having like severe pelvic pain.
Yeah.
Like my first entry into that whole world. And then, yeah, I had it for like a good few weeks and this pain was not going away.
Did they give you any pain relief
No.
when they were inserting it?
No.
Nothing?
No, they just said take the couple of paracetamol before and you'll be fine.
Oh my God.
I know. And it was such a shock because I believed them. Like,
of course.
This is back in the time where if like a medical professional told me something, I was like, you must be right because you know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what we're taught, right? Like,
Yeah.
you guys are the experts. I'm this naive, uneducated teenager that doesn't really know anything yet.
Yeah.
So I'll let you lead the way.
Yeah, here's all my trust and faith, and I'm going to do what you tell me to do. And you're an expert. So yeah, they said to pop a couple of paracetamol and it'll be all good. And it absolutely wasn't. It was awful.
Wow.
And like even since then, I was kind of like, did nobody tell me that this was going to be so bad? Like I started then having the conversations with like my friends or like even like I think I might have put something on my Instagram story like is this what we're doing? Like is this just me or was that hellish? And literally I got like 100 responses from people being like, no, it was I passed out or like I threw up or they couldn't make it happen and I had to leave. And like so it was only when I started to talk about it that I realised that actually everyone has this. I mean, I'm sure for some people it's totally fine and easy, but I think for a lot of people it's really, really painful.
I think inserting the coil, whether it's the IUD or Mirena coil, notoriously is unbelievably painful. It's uncomfortable. Even if you've got no conditions, it's uncomfortable and it's not a nice experience. But if you have got something going on, it can be really, really painful. And we're only now just kind of having the conversation of like, oh, should we give women like topical pain relief? Like, should we maybe put numbing cream on? Or
that's like a great idea.
Shall we actually do something?
Yeah.
Like, I just think about the alternative for men. And my partner often jokes about this, about obviously they've now developed a different test for prostate cancer, like using a blood test, but obviously they used to have to do an examination. And he constantly would joke about being like, I'm not doing that. I'm not having them do that to me. That'd be so uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, mate, I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, we've been having the female equivalent for 10 years.
Which is literally just getting prodded and poked.
Yeah.
And being put in painful situations.
And the doctors are just like, yeah, just crack on.
Yeah.
Like, you're female, just get on with it.
They were like, are you going back to work now? I was like, no. Like, I'm literally in agony.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it all started from then, really.
So describe your experience with Mirena coil to me.
Well, I actually have had both over the years, but the first one was the copper coil, and the pain just did not go away. I think about 4 or 5 weeks in, I went back to my GP and I said, I really want you to take this out of my body now. Like, really, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, give it a chance. Like, you really haven't let it settle into your body. Like, I think he might have even brought up the fact, like, he had a statistic on his laptop or whatever about how much the copper coil costs the NHS.
He guilt-tripped you with the amount of money it was costing.
Yeah. And I was like, that is a really weird thing to say. Like, it really threw me off. He basically sent me out the door again and said, no, I'm not taking it out. So I was like, okay, I'll suffer through for a couple of weeks, see if it settles down.
And how many weeks had you been in pain already?
Probably about 5. But he was like, you need to give it a chance. Like, it needs to settle in. But I was desperate. I was like, I want this out of my body right now. And apart from like the pain, it felt like I was getting a lot of other like physical symptoms, which I then kind of looked into later down the line. And there was a lot of like copper related symptoms that you can get. And I think I was having those.
What were they?
I think I was getting like kind of lightheaded. I was getting like headaches. And actually, yeah, afterwards, I really started to look into like copper toxicity in your body and stuff. And I think maybe my body had some kind of reaction to it as well.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I kind of explained all these things and he was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like standing outside the GP like, oh, I was expecting him to take it out kind of there and then or tomorrow but no. So I went back to the sexual health clinic and basically begged them to take it out.
And what did they say?
They were reluctant, but especially when I said it's only been 5 or 6 weeks, like they were like, I was like, oh my God, help me. Like,
yeah.
But they kind of couldn't really say no in the end. I kind of, I didn't kick up a fuss, but I was like, I'm adamant, this is what I want. And I really want you to do it for me now.
How old were you?
21.
That is like, honestly, I remember like at the point in my journey at 21, I don't think I was that forthright. Like, that's impressive to be that self-assured, to kind of stick to your guns and be
Oh
like,
God,
no,
yeah.
you guys need to remove this, because understandably, so many women, once you've had no a few times, or you've had someone kind of come back at you or wave a cost sheet in your face.
I know, it was really like disheartening, like to be told no when you've made a decision. I was like, oh, you can say no to me?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because I was having such like serious physical symptoms, I was like really desperate. So I was probably shaking the whole time asking them to do it. I was probably like trying to be firm, but like, please, please, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they agreed to do it. And having it out was much better than having it in, but still a horrible experience. And I remember like I got the bus home from having it taken out, and I was literally like doubled over on the bus. But I thought, thank God that's over. I'm not going to have any pain anymore.
Yeah.
It was like a horrible little experience, and I can put it all behind me now, and I'm going to be fine. From then, I didn't have a day where I wasn't in pain for the next like 9 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
I thought it was
horrendous.
over. I thought, yes, I've done it. And then, yeah. And then it kind of had just begun.
This pelvic pain, if you had to describe it, create an image for me, what would it look like? How would you describe it?
Honestly, I've actually thought about that before, because like I've seen people kind of try and do like a visual representation or like a bit of art or like, but I think it can take on so many different forms, like as I'm sure you know,
Yeah.
so many different types of pain that I almost find it hard to like even describe. And also it's so specific. I was actually having this conversation with my friend yesterday, and she was like, don't you feel like endo pain is different from period pain? And I was like, massively.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like your body knows period pain is vile, horrible, but it's kind of doing something. It kind of has a purpose. But all the different pains I've had, like, it's almost so hard to describe because it's a different kind of pain each time.
Yeah.
Like, I've had like really dragging pain, I've had really sharp pain. But I think overall, it was like almost like a bowling ball in my pelvis, like a weight, a heavy kind of that I could feel 24/7.
And it never let up, and you never had a breather or a break from it.
No, it was like a good day was probably like a 3 out of 10. And I would be like, yes.
Thank God for a small amount of pain.
Yeah, I would be like, wow, I feel on top of the world. And then a bad day was like a 10. And I would be like, oh, I'm going to have to go through the like really dehumanizing experience of like, going to A&E and being like, I'm at my limit. Like, in the end, I just stopped going. Yeah, a good day was probably a 3. And then, yeah, that went on for about 9 years.
On a bad day, what would happen when you went to A&E?
I remember specifically one of the first times I went to A&E, she said, have you ever tried? Like she was telling me something revolutionary. She was like, have you ever tried taking 2 paracetamol and 2 ibuprofen at the same time?
Oh, fuck off.
I know. And I was like, oh, wow. Could have done with that amazing thinking.
Wow, that's
this whole time.
groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that I came to an emergency service, which costs an enormous amount of money and makes me wait and sit in an uncomfortable chair for 9, 10 hours for you to turn around and tell me that I can take some more painkillers.
Yeah, I could double up if I'm really, really
Pushing the
suffering.
boat out.
Yeah.
You know,
Treat yourself.
Let's go crazy.
Take 4. I was like, wow, okay. And I brought my mum as well, and she was like, as if that's what they've just told you. Yeah. So then towards the kind of like later years, when I'd be so struggling and kind of like on the floor, I'm like fainting, I'm throwing up, I'm like in agony, nothing is possible. And my partner would be like, we need to get you to A&E. And I'd be like, they're going to do nothing. It's going to be a shit experience for both of us. We're going to have to sit through it. It's going to feel like no one's listening. It's going to feel like no one cares. I'd rather just suffer through at home.
Wow.
So I just stopped going.
That's heartbreaking.
It was. It felt like there was been times where I've been like, probably actually begging for help. And I've never been met with like, well, very rarely been met with someone who's like actually taken me seriously.
What does that do to you over 9 years?
Do you know what? I think I just completely lost faith in like I don't want to say the NHS, but the medical system. Like, I just have no faith in it now at all. And I think it's a hard lesson to learn, because you really think, like, there's something wrong with me. They're going to help me find out what's wrong with me, and then they're going to treat me. And actually, that's not really how it works. Like, half the time I felt like they didn't even know what I was talking about. Like, I'd be saying, like, adenomyosis or, you know, and they'd be like, kind of like, and I was like, you don't even know what I'm saying. So there's no point in us even having this conversation.
Yeah. And that's one of the many fundamental issues, right? Is the education is not there. You know, when they're our age at that point, when they're 18, early 20s, going through the medical system, no one is teaching them about these conditions.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. And I feel like if that doesn't change, we're just going to be in the same position like 50 years down the line.
Yeah.
Because it's just not a priority.
No.
And that's what I felt like. I felt like to no one, this was my whole life. This was like affecting every day. I wasn't able to work. I couldn't sleep. It was putting pressure on all my relationships, all my kind of like friendships. And they were like, sorry. I was like, I felt like just desperate.
Did you hit rock bottom at that point?
Honestly, I think I've hit rock bottom about 3 times. Like, every time I thought, this is it.
This is the worst it can get.
Yeah.
I am here. I can't get any worse than this.
And then somehow it's like a new level of shit underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath rock bottom. But it all kind of like, my mind shifted slightly to kind of that lack of faith when I went down the private route. Still didn't restore my faith entirely, but it felt the shift from when you're paying £400 to be there. The attitude kind of changed slightly, and they are more eager to listen to you and slightly more understanding. Not perfectly,
no,
but a little bit more.
What happened when you went to private healthcare?
I think I managed to like scrape the money together, because I'd been to the GP, I reckon probably 15, 20 times. I wasn't getting anywhere.
Okay.
I think they tried to tell me that I had IBS, which obviously happens all the time.
Oh yeah, let's just blame everything on IBS.
Yeah.
I mean, why could it possibly be more than IBS?
Obviously IBS.
Yeah, she's in pain every day. She can't eat. She can't shower. She can't function in any way, shape, or form. But yeah,
looking at the list, yep, it's IBS.
Yeah, it's just IBS.
And I kept being like, yeah, I definitely don't really feel like I've got IBS. Like, you know, don't you have those symptoms? And they'd be like, cut out gluten, come back in 2 months. Or they'd be like, write a food diary, come back in 2 months. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting desperate. So yeah, I scraped the money together to go to like a local private hospital, and I saw a gynecologist.
How much money are we talking about?
I think back then it was probably about £250 for the consultation.
Which was how long?
I want to say probably 15 minutes. I think I had a 20-minute slot, but I was out the door in 15.
£250 for 15 minutes.
But that actually, looking back now, I've paid so much more than that later down the line.
Okay.
So looking back now, I'm like, 250 quid. Not bad.
Bargain.
Yeah. But then obviously he was like, well, the first step is to get you in for some scans. I think weirdly I ended up getting kind of pushed into having a colonoscopy, because I'd mentioned that maybe my GP had kind of brought up IBS or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if that was like trying to just tick off all the boxes kind of thing. So I had an MRI and I had a colonoscopy, and obviously everything was totally fine.
Of course.
Yeah. So he was like, well, what do you want? You know, what do you want now? Like, what route do you want to go down now? I was like, I want you to tell me. Like, I'm really struggling. I'm telling you, this is my situation. Please give me something I can do. And he was like, well, the only other option is to have like a lab and see. And I was like, what does that even mean? So he kind of like talked me through it. And then I was like, I'll try anything. Like, I need you to see something that I'm clearly not seeing. It's not visible. And if that's the only way, then I'll do it. And I think that ended up costing me like probably about five grand. I'm actually
Oh.
not sure now how I paid for that. I think I must have borrowed some money from my partner at the time's family, or maybe my mum. Like, I think I just scraped it together.
Oh my God.
Mm.
£5,000.
Mm.
Enormous amounts of money.
Yeah, especially at that age. I was like, that felt like, oh, that is a lot of money. But I was like, but it's fine, because after this, they're going to tell me what's wrong with me, and I'm going to be skipping around like nothing's ever happened.
And they're going to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be happy days. And it's
Yeah.
going to be this bad thing that happened 10 years ago.
Yeah, we can put it to bed now.
Yep.
But he was obviously just a regular gynecologist
Mm-hmm.
at the time. I didn't really know any different.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was like, I came round and he was like, I found a little bit, I think I had a couple of cysts on my ovaries,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I knew that before, and they'd ruptured by the time I got to the surgery. So I think he'd like, I don't know, cleaned up whatever he needed to clean up. And then he was like, oh, and actually I did find a few spots of endometriosis. And I was like, oh, because in my head I thought, I definitely had heard of it before. I definitely probably knew people that had it. But in my mind, I thought endometriosis equals really bad, really heavy periods. Like, that was kind of where my knowledge started and ended.
And you didn't have that.
And I didn't have that. So I thought, I'm really surprised that you found that. And he said, yeah, don't worry, I've burnt it all off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the classic, tale as old as time. I've burnt it all off. And he said, and I'll see you in a few years.
I'll see you in a few years?
I said, what do you mean? And he was like, well, yeah, because, although I've burnt it off, like, it's going to come back. So if you're lucky, if I don't see you before a few years, then we'll get rid of it again. And that was my first ever, like, experience of it not, I thought he was going to fix the problem, and then I was done.
I can't actually believe that he said it in that way.
I honestly think it was probably as he was walking out the door. See you in a few years. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Chill. What? Yeah, and then that was me finding out that it's not the be all and end, like, it's not fixed.
But also, like, where's the post-op appointment?
Non-existent.
Like, not see you in 6 weeks? Not,
no.
Let's have a check to see whether your scars or you got any infection.
No.
See you in a few years.
What, so I can pay another
£5,000?
Yeah. And we'll have this kind of 3-year appointment where I just give you £5 and you say see you again. Like, I was so shocked leaving that surgery. I was like, oh. So that's when I really, like, threw myself into, like, researching everything I possibly could. And straight away I was like, first of all, I shouldn't have gone to a regular gynecologist. Second of all, he shouldn't have burnt it off. So straight away, literally like a few days after, I was like, so I've just wasted £5,000 and I haven't even had the right treatment that I now know is, like, the gold standard. And that was, like, so disheartening at the time. I was so disappointed.
We're taking a quick break to say thank you to today's sponsor, BU Period. When it comes to women's health, I'm obsessed with all things holistic and natural. My go-to product is BU's pain relief patches. The combination of menthol and eucalyptus is pure bliss when an endo flare hits. Whether it's pelvic pain, back pain, leg pain, or anything else, they give me the instant and long-lasting relief I need. I wear them at home or on the go. Their discreet nature means they work under literally any outfit. And you can even set up your own subscription so that you never run out of natural pain relief. If you want to get your hands on BU's patches, you can find the link in the show notes. And make sure you use the code INJAP10 to get your exclusive listener discount. Now let's get back to the girl chat. When he leaves that hospital room and you're left alone, what happens emotionally inside in your head? What happens to you?
I think I was like, okay, if this is going to be something that I'm dealing with forever, and he's, so casually saying, see you in a few years, right, this is me now. So I'm going to, and I don't know, I'll change my lifestyle. I'll do all the research I need to do. I will kind of throw myself into this. And also I had this, like, underlying hope that because we just had the surgery, I thought, well, I'm going to get some relief now. Like, it's fresh. So at least I'll have, see you in a few years. I thought, okay, I might have 2 years. And then really quickly I realised that wasn't the case, and I basically got no I mean, I didn't get any relief at all.
None whatsoever?
No.
Nothing changed for you?
No. Yeah, and I think that was like the most disappointing, because I'd kind of gone through all of that with the tiny like glimmer of hope that, okay, even if I do have to go back, I'll have some time. And I didn't get any time.
How do you keep going after that? Did you keep going? I mean, did everything fall apart, stop, pause for you? Or did you keep going after that first surgery?
I felt really determined then.
Okay.
I felt like, I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to sort this out. And then we can not, like you said, we can look back on it and be like, oh, do you remember that time you got really ill? And I had this like determination to make myself better, which is actually quite sweet looking back. Like, I want to be like, oh, I want to give you a hug.
Yeah.
But I thought, surely everything has to be put to bed. Like, the idea of that I had like a chronic illness that was then going to be with me, I was like, well, no, I'm not even willing to entertain that idea. I was like, I will get better. So yeah, I think I just felt really determined still after that, even after the disappointment.
Yeah, you couldn't identify with the idea. You couldn't identify with the concept or the version of you that had an illness that you couldn't fix or cure.
No. I thought, no, these people are medical professionals and they're going to fix me. If it's not him, it's going to be someone else. So yeah, and I also, a huge driving force was that I really wanted to be a mum.
Okay.
And I thought, I have to get myself better. I have to get my body in a really good condition. And it was like a huge motivator for me that I thought I needed to get myself in the best possible situation so I could then try for a baby.
Yeah.
So I kept going because of that, I think, for a lot of those times.
Yeah. That was almost like the fire in your belly.
Totally. It was the driving force to like want to be better, want to find out the information, want to go and see different specialists, whatever it was. But obviously the more people I saw, or the more specialists, like after I got all the knowledge, I thought, okay, I need to see an endometriosis specialist. I mean, even after I saw all of those people, they were still kind of like, well, yeah, but this is still something you're going to have to deal with now, long term. So it really did start to sink in that like I was going to feel this way for a long time. And that was like a really hard adjustment.
Yeah.
To like, especially because no one around me was kind of dealing with any of the same things.
Yeah.
Didn't really have anyone close to me who had endometriosis or even really had a chronic illness. I do now, but I didn't at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of made no sense to me that it was something that I was going to have to deal with long term.
Did that conversation with the endometriosis specialist force you onto the journey of acceptance? Do you think you ever got on it? You're still on it?
That's a good question. I think the repetition of people saying the same thing, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to start to accept now that I'm not just going to magically cure myself.
I can't get better.
Yeah. That's such a hard lesson.
It breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It broke my heart.
It's a huge adjustment. And that's, I think, especially when you start to like grieve, it really kicks off the grieving process for like who you were before, who you might have been. Like your whole life changes in that moment.
Yeah.
When you realise that this is it now. And I was like, I couldn't understand that someone was going to leave me in this amount of pain 24/7 and just say, here's some coping mechanisms. So I think I even went to see like a pain management specialist at one point.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, I'm running out of people I can see. I'd done acupuncture, Chinese herbs, womb massage. I'd had such a strict kind of anti-inflammatory diet. I'd cut out any fun, any sugar, I'd really dedicated myself.
You'd become a nun.
No, literally, there was no fun left in my entire life. So I thought, okay, I'll go to a pain management specialist. That was about $350. That one cost me.
Oh my God.
And the only thing I came away with, like, it's funny, but it's also really not funny, but he was like, have you tried mindfulness?
Oh, oh God.
That was it.
You either laugh or you cry.
Yeah. Yeah, have you tried mindfulness?
And he said it with a straight face.
Yeah.
Like this pain management specialist that gets paid God knows how much money to be a specialist in this area turned to you and said, have you tried mindfulness?
Yeah.
I'd want to punch him.
I know, I was close. I felt like it. I felt like the rage. Because I'd kind of scraped together this 350 quid and I thought he might be able to give me some kind of long-term painkillers or some kind of inject. Like, I would have done anything. Yeah, and he was like, have you really thought about, mindfulness, breath work? And I was like, I'm going to go. So I was literally, I'm going to get up and leave this. I'm going to want to say something I regret.
There's nothing I can say, so I'm going to physically walk out the door.
Yeah. It's like, thanks for absolutely nothing.
Oh my God.
Enjoy my £350.
Yeah, good day's work. You've earned that.
So that was a very quick appointment.
All in all, how much do you think you've spent over the years?
I don't know, probably like close to probably 15 grand, I imagine.
Wow.
Like I was having like scans, because every time I'd see like a new specialist, they'd want their own set of scans and all of that. And I just was so desperate. I was like, okay, someone might find something. You might see something that somebody else didn't see on this scan. And like an MRI, like some of the specialists I was seeing like in London or whatever, I think they were costing me like £1,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, see something on this image. Like, I'm begging you. What doesn't look right? And they'd all kind of say the same thing. And I think the very last one I had, I'd said, oh, actually, there is a couple of tiny areas of like a dark mass. And I think, honestly, that was probably like the 5th person I saw who'd noticed these kind of little areas. And they actually requested my surgery pictures from the very first one I had, that £5,000. And they were like, oh, there are these areas. Like, how did nobody see this when they were in there? Because I can actually see them on these photos.
Oh my God, the surgery photos.
And that turned out to be what, to this day, I have no idea, because nobody could really agree on what it was. One specialist said that they thought they were fibroids.
Okay.
And one specialist said, no, that's definitely kind of areas of adenomyomas. So I'm diagnosing you with adenomyosis.
Okay.
And then the other one was like, I'm diagnosing you with fibroids.
You've got a diagnosis of endometriosis, adenomyosis, fibroids.
Yeah. But potentially maybe 2 out of the 3 of those, because no one could really...
So basically they were covering their bases because they're not actually sure what it is they're looking at.
Yeah. I think then he said to me, the guy who thought it was not fibroids, that it was probably a bit of adenomyosis, was like, look, if you're really serious about having children, now's the time. Because what's going to happen is, if you were 50 right now and you were sat in front of me, I'd say, let's just give you a hysterectomy. Because that's kind of the only thing that's if these are the things that's causing you the pain, I can help you. We'll whip it out. But, you've expressed to me that you really want a family. You're only, oh my God, I don't even know how old I was at this point, 25. I was married at the time. I think I was married at 25. Yeah, I was married at the time, so I was in a really long-term relationship. And me and my partner were like, right, we know we want this, so let's kind of bring it forward a little bit and like start that whole journey.
You wanted to be a mum
so badly.
You always wanted to be a mum.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you first started to try and conceive naturally.
To conceive naturally, obviously I had to kind of come off any hormones. And also really kind of any like heavy painkillers and stuff. Because at that time, I think I was probably taking so many painkillers to try and get through the day.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really need to kind of be like nourishing my body more. And I was in proper survival mode. So I came off all my hormones, and like, that was a huge adjustment, because I think the pill or kind of progesterone or anything else I was taking to aid it slightly was kind of just putting a bit of a dampener on it. And then when I was off all of that, it was like here is you in your cycle. Here is like every bit of pain. There was no relief at all after I came off.
It was like a rage, almost like a tsunami of pain, and everything just came at you at once.
So I think we tried for like a few months. And bear in mind, I probably, I'm not working at this point because I'm just so unreliable. I can't turn up anywhere. I'm like, if I go out, I can probably be there for like half an hour. I'm like thinking, okay, what do I need to take? I've got a heat pad, I've got patches, I've got this painkiller, I've got this painkiller. What excuse can I have to leave early? Like, I had no life at this point whatsoever. My quality of life was so low. So we tried for like a few months, and I kind of again threw myself into it and was doing all the research, and because I didn't have anything else to do. I was either in agony or like listening to podcasts or like reading books or like how could I increase my chances. I was desperate. And after a few months I thought, this is so unmanageable, this amount of pain. I'm either going to need to go back on contraception or something to help that means I'm not going to be able to get pregnant, or I'm going to have to think about maybe IVF to, I guess, speed up the process. I think I'd always known in the back of my mind it was going to be difficult for me to get pregnant naturally. I don't know why I had like not a gut feeling, but I think when you'd gone through so much and been in so much pain, I thought there's no way that this is then going to happen for me.
You almost had like a gut instinct or like maybe a sixth sense from your own body trying to tell you something.
Yeah, 100%, which sounds a bit like, but I felt like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So me and my ex-partner were like, okay, let's do it. Let's do IVF. Let's hope it works. Maybe it will reduce the amount of time that I'm not on any medication. It just felt like the right thing to do because it was such a big priority for us. Like, it was that driving force.
How do you have sex and try and fall pregnant naturally when you're in pain all the time?
Honestly, what a chore. Like, I think generally actually trying for a baby, not only is it such a weird thing because it kind of turns into a really strict, really rigid regime. It makes it really hard for you to kind of have any fun, any spontaneity gone.
Romance.
Oh, it's dead.
Non-existent.
There is no romance left. And I really think it changes your relationship because I think up until then it's all been like, fun. That element is supposed to be fun. And then it's like, no, we're down to business. But again, I think I was so desperate that I think I was probably really bossy. I think I was like, right, we're doing it now. It's this date, it's this time. Come on. He's probably like, okay.
Get home from work, right, upstairs. Now's the time. Now's the slot. Get on with it.
And then I'm probably like hobbling up the stairs like this. And I'm like, God. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But I think we were both as motivated as each other. And I think he was probably more hopeful than I was. I think maybe I was a bit like, it's never going to happen. And he was like, well, you never know. So I think, I think we both kind of came to the realization at the same time that it wasn't going to happen on its own. I think that was probably about 9 months, less than a year of trying naturally. But I'd reached a limit of my physical and mental health without any help.
Yeah.
So something had to change.
So you went for IVF.
I went for IVF.
Describe the IVF journey to me.
I think IVF is anyone who's been through IVF knows it's so brutal. But going through IVF and having a chronic illness or having chronic pain, it's like nothing I can even describe. You read so much about IVF and people's struggles and people's experiences, but you really rarely hear about people with endometriosis or any other kind of condition like that then going through IVF. Because we're talking about something that's like thriving off hormones, and you are pumping your body full of stuff like 24/7. So my pain was off the charts, And then when you're not pumping your body full of hormones, you are getting prodded so much.
You're feeding the monster.
Oh, massively. And I honestly was having like internal scans every other day. I was having like, they do like practice embryo transfers where they find like a little hole in your cervix. It was relentless. I felt so, I don't want to say violated, but it really made me lose like all connection with my body. I felt so disconnected. And I was in so much pain this entire time. And it's almost hard for me to imagine now, like, that I kept wanting to do it. It would literally be like IVF appointment, injections, home, try and sleep for a couple of hours because I've been up all night in agony, throw up, take some medication, lay on the cold floor, cry, and repeat the day.
And that was your life.
Yeah. And on top of that, you've got all the emotional ups and downs that everyone talks about, like the highs, the lows, the disappointment a lot of the time. But yeah, that combined with the physical symptoms was like unbearable.
What are the highs and the lows?
I think the things that like kept me going were like after maybe like egg retrieval or whatever, they'd be like, you've got a great amount of eggs. And I'd have this like wave of hope again that would keep me going. Or they'd have, even before that, they'd give me scans or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, the things aren't developing the way that we would like them to do. And it'd be like, boom, you know what I mean? And it's just like so up and down the whole experience because you feel so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, this is my heart on a plate. Like, this is what I really want.
Yeah.
And, I think especially as a woman, you're so invested.
Yeah.
Like, my partner probably was invested, but like when it's happening to you and you already almost have this biological attachment to an idea or even like a very small tiny physical being, if it's successful, you already have that bond. So I felt just so vulnerable the whole time.
It's your hopes and dreams that you've had since you were a teenager on a plate, right?
Yeah.
With somebody else that is controlling it.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like my heart was on a plate the whole time. Yeah, and I ended up doing 3 rounds almost back to back over probably 18 months.
How long does each round go on for?
I think I had 2 egg retrievals, which again is probably one of those things that's horrid if you've got nothing wrong with you. But when you also have pain or any other it's a minefield. Like, it was like just awful. Excruciating and traumatic. Yeah.
The process was traumatic.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to be in a level of pain, obviously, anyway, but then when you've got something going on in there and they're just poking around and, injecting things and whatever, I was like, I woke up and I thought, I'm going to die. Like, I was like, I'm in so much pain. I don't think I can do this again. And miraculously, I ended up doing it a whole nother time. Just for the chance, I think, just for the hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had 3 rounds, which was a lot.
That is a lot.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I think I thought if I stop, I won't keep going. So I'd always be like, okay, that ended how it ended. I'll make the appointment. I'll call for the next one. When can I start again? Which probably isn't the most like healthy way to do it.
It's the way you cope, though, right?
It's the only way I could keep going. Yeah. So out of the 3 rounds, all 3 I was successful and got pregnant.
Okay.
But all ended in like a relatively early miscarriage. And after that 3rd time, I was like, okay, I've hit the wall now. And that was when I started to close that chapter.
What happens to you when you have a miscarriage?
It's really hard to prepare yourself for. because I knew how common it was. I knew that you weren't guaranteed. And I knew that it was like, I heard all the statistics. But I really wasn't prepared for, like, I suppose, again, it's like going back to that attachment that you have. And with each kind of one that happened, I felt so much more grief, like, because I was grieving that future that I'd really craved for so long. I was like, it was being like taken from me with each time it happened. Yeah, it's just such an emotional and like really like raw experience. And I think even when you've got like amazing people around you, like, it's really isolating.
Were you lonely?
I was so lonely. I think IVF is really isolating as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't really tell many people. And this is like, if I could go back and have my time again, I would say to anybody, or do myself, lean on the people around you. Like they want to help you. They want to support you. But if you are closed off or keeping things a secret or doing it in private because it feels vulnerable or it feels like something that should be kept, they can't help you. And I very much was like, no, it's my thing. It's my problem. I don't want anyone to know if I get disappointed, or, you know, it's really private, it's really personal. I don't want anyone talking about it. So we kind of just got on with it really behind closed doors. And then obviously when each time I had a miscarriage, very few people knew that I was even doing IVF.
Yeah.
So even less people kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I felt like everything was weighing. It felt like a very private little secret that I just kept to myself. And I wish so much I hadn't done that. I wish I'd been like, to my friends or to my siblings, I wish I didn't even tell. Probably, I don't think my siblings knew I was having IVF. I think it was like really hush hush.
Wow.
So that when I then lost each pregnancy, it just felt like it was just me. And like, I guess my mum and my partner at the time, like, it was kind of just a really lonely grief.
Yeah.
So I really wish I'd reached out to people more or just kept them in the loop. I wish I hadn't felt like it was so private.
What does it do to your relationship?
I think it's such a difficult thing to watch someone go through.
Yeah, to stand on the sidelines
Yeah.
and be powerless.
Yeah. And not be able to like step in and say, I'm going to take this pain away from you. I think it's like really hard for people. And I think I feel so sad now for like my parents, especially my partner at the time, my friends, to like have kind of watched from the outside. And I think as well, it makes you quite closed off. I kind of just wanted to be in my pain on my own.
Yeah.
And I think I probably really pushed away a lot of friendships, because I just thought, this is my own suffering and I'm going to keep it private. But I don't think everyone is equipped to understand.
No, I don't think they are. I think it takes a very special kind of person
Yeah.
to get close to understanding, because even the two of us, we both have endometriosis. I can't fully understand your body and you can't fully understand mine.
Yeah, it's so personal.
So to even get close to it.
Yeah. Although he was there with me at every second of the day, I always kind of just felt like, you don't really understand. And I think especially when it came to the fertility stuff, you know, I wanted him to kind of be in it with me and feel it how I was feeling it. But obviously everyone deals with things differently, and I think men deal with things really differently.
Yeah.
But ultimately we kind of just were dealing with things so differently that it really like made a huge problem between us. I wanted him to feel what I was feeling, and that's just not realistic. Like, I can't kind of put these emotions into you. And I think as well, he found it very difficult to understand why I was feeling so like heartbroken or so vulnerable, or I think men can be quite like black and white.
Yes, in their processing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a huge, just massive bit of grey.
You made a huge decision after all your diagnosis journey, trying to conceive, IVF, miscarriages. You then arrived at another huge crossroads in your life, and you decided to have a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
Why did you have a hysterectomy?
I think I felt like I had given it everything else. And I knew, you know, I'm so not naive to think that a hysterectomy is a life's, like, it's going to cure you, because it's just absolutely not. Like, I totally understand that. But I almost felt like I was ticking off all the things I'd tried, all the options I'd exhausted, and then I was getting to this big one at the bottom. I was like, oh, I haven't tried that. And once I'd experienced what then turned out to be the third and final miscarriage, I found it so easy to make the decision, because especially the third time, I felt like having a miscarriage, going into hospital, having the procedure, all of those, it was honestly so dehumanizing that I thought, I almost now don't want to get pregnant again, because then I'd have to go through being treated like that. I think that experience in hospital was such a huge catalyst for me being like, okay, there's my final option. I'm going to give it a go.
What happened in hospital?
So I had a scan, obviously, and they said, I'd had a few scans, but then the last one they said, I'm really sorry, there's no heartbeat anymore. Kind of, this is the procedure, this is what we do. And I had to kind of wait, I think about a week between that scan and then getting a final scan at the hospital. So I kind of was just walking around in this like awful daze for like about a week. Your body still thinks you're pregnant. And it's all you can think about. It's like I felt like all my hopes and dreams had been like dashed in that moment. And I felt like I was walking around like not almost not even in my own body for that week. And then I went to hospital. They kind of confirmed with another scan, and then they book you in for like I think it's, if it's over like a certain gestation or over a certain size, it's easier to kind of do it surgically.
Okay.
So I think then was another few days of just like drawn out, just kind of horrible few days. Went for my surgery and they were like, okay, come for 9 o'clock. No food, no water, whatever. And it was kind of like 2022 this was, so they were still kind of like COVID-y rules.
Yeah, it was like leftover COVID rules, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't intense, but it was like leftover stuff.
So they're like, come on your own, don't bring anyone. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I went alone and I turned up and there were people with like partners or someone's mum or milling around, and I was like, hang on, I was told I couldn't bring anyone. And basically it turned out that if you made enough of a fuss, because it's, you know, a sensitive kind of emotional, was on like a female ward, so like there was lots of stuff. If you made a fuss, you could bring someone, but by that point I'm on my own.
Oh, that's just cruel.
I know, and I was like, my heart sank. I was like, I would kill to have just someone here with me. And they put me in like a little room off the side somewhere, and obviously I wasn't even allowed to like sip water. And then nothing happened until about 4:30 p.m. So I just sat there the whole time.
9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. sipping tiny amounts of water with no food.
Yeah. And I was so emotionally drained. I was just like heartbroken. I was just like at the end of every possible tether. And I thought, oh, they've forgotten about me. So I kind of like went out and I was like, am I gonna get seen or whatever? And she was like, I don't know, like, let me check. Like, I was like, okay. Like, everyone was like so awful. And I saw on the thing, it said like, my name, and then it said like medical abortion or whatever. And she like pointed over and she was like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like reading the words like, "Oh, yeah." She was like, "Oh, okay, right, go back and sit in there and I'll get someone to come and speak to you." So I was like, "Okay." And then I think like 4:35 came around and they were like, "Oh, we don't know if we're gonna have time to do it today."
What?
Yeah. They're like, "Could you come back tomorrow?" And I said, "No." I was like, "Seriously, I'm not coming back tomorrow. I'm begging you, please do it now. Like, I've been so patient. I'm here. I've mentally psyched myself up for this. Can we do it now?" They were like, "All right, we'll go and speak to the surgeon." Anyway, they did fit me in about like 5:30. It was like the last one of the day, I think. But yeah, like the idea that they were then going to send me home again.
That's awful.
Yeah. And I came round from surgery and I was losing loads of blood. Like, I was like, felt so dizzy. I was in agony. Like, my womb was just like killing. It was like the worst kind of endo pain, but on a whole nother level.
Okay.
And I was losing loads of blood, and there was some other like weird stuff happening. Like, I'd had a paracetamol drip and the nurse accidentally spilt it all over me, so I was like soaked. And I was looking down and I was thinking, this is like a huge amount of blood. I was so scared. And I said, "I really need some painkillers." And she said, "Oh, you've had paracetamol during the procedure." I said, "Can you not give me something else? Like, I'm really, really," I was like bawling my eyes out in pain. This is in like the recovery room. And she was like, "No, you've had enough."
Oh,
I know. And I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And then luckily, I knew somebody who worked at the hospital and they'd recognised me and they'd come over. She works in the recovery room after surgery.
mm-hmm.
And she was like, "This is not okay. Like, first of all, why are you bleeding so much? Why are you covered in something that someone's spilt? Why are they not listening to you?" And she basically took control of the situation because she knew me and she saw that I really needed help. She also knew kind of my background. So honestly, she was like a lifesaver in that moment.
Oh my God.
I literally felt like, I'm so happy to see you. Like, please help me out of this situation.
And how terrifying that
so
if that
scared.
really random coincidence occurrence hadn't
Mm.
have happened, what could have happened to you?
I think they would have just left me there, like writhing around and just like bleeding through God knows what, and
Oh my God.
and just been like, well. And it turned out that I couldn't have any painkillers because they were understaffed and the person who needs to sign it off for me to have more wasn't around. So I hadn't had enough. It was chaotic. It was busy. They were understaffed. It was like agency nurses. It was just like chaos.
So a patient was forced to be in agonizing pain because there isn't someone to sign a form. That's outrageous.
I know. So yeah, this woman that I know, she just kind of like held my hand, got me painkillers. She was off shift or whatever, but she just sat with me the whole time until I could go back to the ward. And I was like, "You're an angel."
Yeah.
And I felt like the whole experience could not have been worse. I felt like even just the way they spoke to me and just like there was no like sensitivity to the whole situation.
No.
And I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to do that again.
It's inhumane.
It is. It really, it felt so dehumanizing.
So then obviously you're looking at that hysterectomy going, this is the bottom of the list. This is that final massive option.
Yeah.
And you decided it was right for you.
Yeah.
Given all those years of everything that you'd been through.
Kind of sold it to myself and I was like, if this gives me 20% less pain, it's worth doing.
Wow.
Realistically, if it gave me 10% worth, it still was worth doing. But I had in my head, if it gives you a little bit of relief, if it makes things slightly easier, it's going to be worth it. Because I just felt so desperate. I'd already missed out on basically my whole 20s. I felt like I hadn't really had a chance to like level up in my career. I hadn't had the chance to be a parent. Like, I felt like I'd missed out on so much. I was like, if this just gives me a tiny bit of a chance of a normal life, it's worth the risk. And I felt comfortable doing it because I'd already closed the door on ever being like a parent in the traditional sense. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And I went to see my NHS surgeon, who happens to be an endometriosis specialist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I know. And I'd met her for like the first time, and I'd spoken about everything that I'd gone through, and she was like, do you want a hysterectomy? And I was like, not only did she believe everything I'd told her and could see that I'd tried so hard, it felt like validation, like someone was being like, if it's that bad, this is what I'm willing to do for you. And that was kind of the first time I'd ever experienced that.
Yeah.
And she said, I'll do it.
Wow.
Like, if that's what you want, if you're telling me like you've completely closed the door on fertility, and I think I'd basically said to her, like, if you don't do it for me, I'm getting it done. Like, I'm going to get a loan. I'm going to go whatever.
It's either you or it's someone else.
I'd really like it to be you. And she was like, okay, like, I totally understand, and I'll do it for you. I'll put you on the waiting list for surgery. And I was like, oh God, yeah.
There's a waiting list.
Yeah. I thought I'd tried so hard to get to this point to convince her to do it. And then I thought, oh yeah, can't just have it like next week. So I called up and I was like, what am I looking at here? And they were like, I think it's about a year to 18 months. And I was like, no. I was like, I can't do it. So I made an appointment with a private surgeon, also an endometriosis specialist. These were the two people that were arguing of whether the fibroids or the endometriosis. So made an appointment, and he said, you're looking at about 21,000.
Oh,
I know.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
£21,000.
Yeah.
That's a house deposit.
Yeah. For like the surgery, the hospital fees, whatever else was included. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, fine. Yep, I'll do it. I was like researching like how to get a loan. Like, will somebody lend me £20,000? Like, what's my credit score? But I'd so made the decision then.
You were determined.
I was on one. I was like, if it helps or not, I want to be able to tick it off. I was almost like walking around being like, I don't want you in my body now. Like, I'm so drained. And yeah, weirdly, I got a call. So I saw her in the October, and I got a call in the December. This is the NHS surgeon. And they said, she's had a cancellation. Can you come in like a week?
Oh my God.
Like, it's really short notice. We totally understand if you can't do it. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I was like, I will be there. So yeah, cancelled the private appointment. And it was like, I think it was the 30th of December, 2024. So I was like, just past Christmas, the whole Christmas, I was like, I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to have surgery. I was like so nervous. I was like researching everything about hysterectomy, everything that could go wrong. I was like watching videos, like, it was just so like all encompassing over that Christmas period. Yeah. And then I went in on the 30th and had it done.
Full hysterectomy?
Full hysterectomy. I feel like it's a full hysterectomy. They took my womb, my fallopian tubes, and my cervix.
Okay.
Is that
and
full?
left the ovaries?
Left my ovaries.
Okay. So you're not in surgically induced menopause, or are you?
Well, so yeah, had the hysterectomy. And afterwards, like skipping forward to menopause, everyone was telling me, if you keep your ovaries, you'll be fine. If you keep your ovaries, you'll be fine.
You'd like a refund on that statement?
I would really appreciate somebody backpedaling, because about 3 months after surgery, maybe more, 3 to 5 months, I felt like I was slowly losing my mind. Like, it almost felt like that feeling before you get your period where you feel so out of sorts in your body that you want to like peel your own skin off.
Yeah, and you could kill someone,
Yeah.
or you could cry if you burnt a piece of toast,
Yeah.
or you can't hear, or you can't
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Like literally, it felt like that all the time. So I went to get some like blood tests done and like check my kind of like levels or whatever. And they were kind of like a bit all over the place. Like, obviously, I didn't really even kind of think about the fact that my body would still be having a cycle, which is weird, but I didn't think about it. And my ovaries kind of weren't really doing what they should be doing. The levels were kind of all over the place. I don't know if they'd just gone like, what the fuck has just happened? Like, what is going on? Or they were like slowly starting to shut down, or anyway, so I then started taking HRT.
Okay.
From then, and it's made like the world of difference.
Yeah.
But it was something I wasn't expecting.
Not something you were talked to about?
No, not at all. I think the whole time it was like, oh, keeping ovaries, fine. Like, actually keeping ovaries, don't need a follow-up appointment after the hysterectomy.
Stop.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. You only get a follow-up if they've taken your ovaries, and I presume that follow-up is to discuss HRT and menopausal symptoms and stuff. But yeah.
A post-op appointment?
No. Because I kept my ovaries,
What?
You don't even get to go back, and they don't even check you.
That is bullshit.
I know. I was horrified.
That's outrageous. But it's a massive surgery. It's a huge surgery, and the recovery is really intense, and there's a lot that could go wrong or needs checking.
I felt like being like, are you sure? You don't want to just give me a once over? No, there was no follow-up. That was like the biggest shock of all.
That feels criminal.
Yeah. It felt like bizarre. Because like my boyfriend recently has had like a really minor surgery on his nose. And he has a follow-up appointment.
No, of course he does.
They're checking his nose like 6 weeks after.
Ugh.
But I've had literally my womb removed.
You've literally had an internal reconstruction because they've had to take things out and then, as you say, knit things together to keep everything okay.
They don't even want to check it.
That makes me so angry.
It was such a shock. But yeah, that was I felt really disappointed about that.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like I'd been like pushed out. Good luck. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if what I'm experiencing is normal, if like something should be happening that's not. But luckily, it all went like fairly, as smooth as it can go. There was no big hiccups. But they were like, yeah, come back if anything major happens.
But it shouldn't be that way around. Should it like, thank God you didn't have anything big come up. That's amazing. But that's not the case for everyone. And there'd be plenty of cases where things do go wrong. So why are you not just seeing someone 6 weeks later? I don't get it.
I have no idea.
Surely you're causing far more risk, probably spending far much more money and time when things do then go wrong, and you then have to...
could have been prevented.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, it literally said on the form, kept ovaries, no follow-up needed.
Well, seeing as you are almost a year post-hysterectomy, and after the completely believable but unbelievable journey that you've been through, I think I need to pick my jaw off the floor. Every time that I was like, okay, it can't get more shocking, it did.
Yeah, I felt like it at the time as well.
Yeah.
I felt like, what now?
Where are you now?
It has definitely dramatically changed my life. Like it's not an answer for everyone, 100%. But you know, when I was aiming for that 20%, I reckon I've probably got 80% back.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm able to like work. I'm able to go on holiday. I'm able to make like social plans. I'm like sleeping through the night and not waking up in agony. Like it's given me such a big opportunity back to kind of like have my 30s as the decade that should have been my 20s.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I did lose my whole 20s.
You lost a decade.
Yeah. I feel like I'm starting again of like fresh. It's given me a huge fresh energy. And like a huge opportunity again to have the freedom, not be on loads of painkillers, not be like worrying about, you know, how can I leave early, or like, do I have everything I need with me? Do I have enough painkillers? Crying at appointments, or like feeling like I should definitely bring my partner with me because then they'll take me seriously. Begging, crying, being dismissed. Like, it feels like that chapter is closing slowly. Definitely, I still have pain. Like, I've got, you know, like a BU patch on now. I think I've like, I'm not pain free.
No.
That would be crazy.
That would be a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the pain I do get is less and it's much more manageable. So to me, it feels like a huge win.
Well, I'm sure you've been using those mindfulness techniques that you told me about.
Oh yeah, my £350 mindfulness techniques. That's basically cured me. Yeah, and it's just given me like a whole new lease of life to just feel like I can have a life again, and like I can have what I deserve. Because I think when you're struggling so much, you kind of just lose sight of anything you want. It's all about like surviving and getting through. And for the first time, I'm like, ooh, what do I actually want? Like, where do I want to live? Or like, what do I want to do as a job? Or like, what do I want from a relationship now? Like, I've got the choices back, bar just getting through each day.
Well, you can live now, can't you?
I can live now. Yeah, touch wood.
Touch wood. Mariella, you've been amazing.
Thank you.
You've been absolutely amazing, and I am so grateful to have heard all of those different parts of your story. It's heartbreaking to hear. It must have been even more heartbreaking to experience, but just thank you for sharing it.
Thank you for listening to me waffle on.
You are not a waffler. You are.
Good.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
I have one final question for you. Podcast tradition.
Yeah.
If you could imagine that I wasn't sat here and a much younger Mariella was sat here and you could say anything to her, what would you say?
Lean on the people around you. 100%. Like, don't keep all of your pain and all of your suffering to yourself. Like, the best parts of my whole journey have been when I found other people to connect with, or other people that listened, other people that understood, and like actually allowed myself to have that help and support.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't really love accepting help or being really open, that's hard.
Yeah.
But it's so necessary. So, and people want to support you, people love you, and they want you to be okay. So that would be my advice.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.